on again, man. Esau, something happened, man, where the recording stopped. But this is Genesis going into his eyes are red, right? Going back to this Revelation. Where is it at? And his eyes were as a flame, and it's going into this in Genesis 49 and 12. And it says, his eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Right? And white with his teeth being white with milk is talking about the pureness of truth that he spoke when he came, man. There was no guile found in Yahweh Shai. He was telling the truth. Right? His reason why his eyes were red, it wasn't because they were on fire, it's because what? They were inflamed with wine. Because when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, people were saying that he was a wine bibber. Right? So back in Revelation 1, and I'll go to 14. It says his heads and his hairs were his head and his hair was white like wool, going into the color and the texture as white as snow. That's the color. This is the texture, right? And his eyes were as the flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, going into what? The color of his skin. What is the color of brass? It's a brown, right? See, fine brass. And that's not the good brass. That's the fine brass right there. That brown like that. Now, fine brass burned in a furnace. Right, the base of this is that burned in a furnace. So this is the color that the Lord was. He was that dark brown, man. He's that dark brown, man. Revelation, going back to it, the 15th verse. It says, in his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice has the sound of many waters, because he was loud. He had a loud, boisterous voice. Right? Even when you go further on in the scriptures, going into the express image, when you go here, this is Daniel's 10 and 6, it says his body, I'll start up. It says, then I lifted up my eyes, Daniel's 10 and 5, and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, right, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz, going into Yahweh Shai. We read that in Revelation. And his body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, because he had that shine, man. Right? And his eyes as lamps of fire. We covered that with the book of Genesis. And his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass. That dark brown. It keeps saying it. And his voice, in the voice of his words, like unto a multitude, that loud, boisterous voice. It says, and I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, for the men that were with me saw not the vision, but great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. Right? This is what the presence of the Lord looks. This is what the Lord looked like. If his son looked like this, who is express image, right? Then what? Yahweh himself looked exactly like it. You can't get around this, man. This is what the Heavenly Father looked like. And the Lord has a way he looks, and it's something that we're supposed to teach the people, because you're supposed to teach them all things in truth. If the way the Lord looked like was never twisted in this world, then we wouldn't have to cover it like this. But because it has been, we have to do these things. We have to go into these things and tell the truth about them, because what? It pulls that veil off, right? It provides that shield. It provides you a way to know that you are come from that holy royal line. The way you look is holy and royal, so you need to live up to that standard. But this dude, Gino Jennings, man, he takes off that covering that comes with a way and a look and a way to be, right? Not saying Israelites can't look like any other nation, because what we've been scattered. But this dude tries to perpetrate like the Lord is only a spirit. When you go all the way back to the book of Exodus, how what does the spirit look like then? Because Moses saw him, and what? He saw the backside of him, and Moses knew that this was. Yeah, how would he know what his spirit looked like if he could sit here and say that he saw the backside of him? Right? But this dude is a crook. He's a liar, man. Right? Let me get this other one. This is Daniel 7 and 9, and it says, yeah, I'll go to Daniel 7 and 9. It says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. Who's the Ancient of Days? The Heavenly Father, whose garment was white as snow, and the hairs of his head like pure wool. Going into the texture, man. Not all wool is white. So obviously it's not talking about him having white woolly. Obviously it's not talking about his head being white. It's really talking about his hair being woolly and white. When you go to other scriptures to pile up this information. For precept must be upon precept, line upon line. His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wills as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth before him. Thousands of thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. And the judgment was set, and the books were opened. Right? This is talking about the Heavenly Father, man. This is what he looked like. And the reason why it talks about that fire, because the Lord said what? The Lord is a consuming fire. He's all out powered, man. But he looks exactly as his son looked, because that's how he made him. The express image. Right, so this dude is off. And Lord willing, I'll be able to put this lesson together. The spirit. Because this dude is a false prophet that feeds himself. He doesn't feed the flock. He's a gatekeeper to information that he knows. Because this dude studies, and he studies the Israelites. He knows. But he's all about the bag and feeding himself, and not the flock. All right? Lord willing is edifying. Shalom.